Alicia. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for
For-
having me.
no problem. We are here in Heckscher Park in Huntington, New York, and we are going to be talking with a Jill of all trades.
That's me.
So, teacher, you work in shop, computers, EMT, and you fly high with silks.
Yes.
Can you explain that? What is that?
Okay, so aerial silks is basically Cirque du Soleil, but the ribbon part of it. So whenever you see them like tie themselves up in what looks like really long silk curtains, and then fall out of them gracefully, falling with style, that's what I do, but on a much lower scale. So we're not, 800 feet up in the air. We're maybe 14 at most.
We're not up there yet.
Not up there yet, no.
Yeah, exactly. Because you are the mother of dragons.
I am.
Yes. How long have you had those two? You still have two?
No,
Oh no.
both Daenerys and Elliot passed away last January, but I do have another one. She is also a rescue, and her name is Siobhan.
That is some name.
Yep.
For
Bearded Dragon.
Bearded Dragon. I knew that's what it was called. Darn. Too bad.
Great beards.
I could look cool saying that. Yeah. And you really were attached to them. They were like your kids.
Oh yeah, I have both Elliot and Daenerys tattooed on my leg.
Oh, that's amazing. Wow. All right. So let's get down to business because we weren't in business just now.
Let's get down to business.
Are you singing Mulan?
To defeat
Don't say Huns.
the wind.
Okay. Yeah, we are trying to defeat the wind. It's kind of windy, but we're gonna pull through. So, since this is a fantasy podcast,
yeah,
what is fantasy to you?
Fantasy to me is anything where I feel like I can escape reality. I feel like we are so concentrated on the impending doom of everything that the reality is we just need to escape it.
Need to escape it. That's exactly how I feel about it too. I think it's always been a sense of escapism, and that's why fantasy stays fantastic because it blends what we know of the world into something that could never be.
Right.
And we can jump into that, whether it's a horrifying thing or whether it's something fun and fanciful. So I agree with you.
Yeah.
All right, now that we got that out of the way, can you explain your aerial skills and how you became interested in it in the first place?
I actually met my now best friend through my ex-husband, and she had a studio in the back room of a CrossFit type gym. And I just kind of started there, and that was about 5 years ago. And obviously, it shut down through COVID, and she never opened up her studio again. But we had another friend of a friend open up a studio, and that's where I'm at now. So I've been there for the past year. I teach teens how to do aerial silks. Yep, and then I also teach beginner adults.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So
how much strength do you need for this?
So everybody always tells me, "Oh, I could never do that. I'm not strong enough, or I'm too heavy, or I don't have enough upper body strength, or I'm afraid of being upside down. I'm afraid of falling." You don't need much to start, and you'd be surprised at how quickly you build that strength. Because within about 3 months of me getting back into silks after the COVID hiatus, I probably am able to do a bunch of pull-ups, whereas during COVID I lost the ability to do one. So you build up the strength really fast, and the more you do it and the more you really kind of commit to it, the more daring things that you'll be able to feel like you want to do. So you end up doing more complicated moves, drops. So
that is so cool.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the kids really like it, right?
Oh yeah, the kids have a lot of fun with it. I have a lot of gymnasts that will kind of transfer over when they're done with the gymnast season or they need to do some cross training.
That is so cool. All right, so I don't know where I clipped that. All right, so how has your imagination guided you in your life?
Oh, well, I mean, I've always been a very imaginative child. Played outside a lot, had to make up a lot of things. My whole entire career is based on basically problem solving because I have to be able to come up with projects for these teenagers that is relevant to them, but still matches with the content that I'm supposed to teach. So, coming up with new ideas and new ways of getting it across to students while making it fun, entertaining, educational, is a challenge. But luckily, because I'm always kind of thinking about 800 things up in my head, it's like, maybe I could try this, maybe I could try this, maybe I could try this, maybe I could try this. So the imagination has definitely helped my curriculum. And so it's a muscle that I never really lost as I grew up because I couldn't.
Wow. Yeah, it's so important. I actually remember when we used to work together years back on the train,
Back in the
and
day.
I'm writing one of my books, and I needed characteristics for chaotic vampires. And you working in the EMT as an EMT,
Mm.
you had experience and you've seen some things, and you gave me three great chaotic, vampiric, supportive characters, and so that your imagination, it is clear from my experience as well. All right, now let's get to the nitty gritty,
Ugh.
as Nacho Libre might say. If you were in a fantasy book or a game or a film, uh, which one would that be?
So I actually thought about this a lot because I was like, oh, I don't know. So the first like real fantasy book that I got into was the Fever series by
Your crow is here.
my crow is here. What's up, buddy?
There's crows follow her everywhere.
They
It's unbelievable.
do. As long as there's not three, we're good.
Now, what is this series?
The Fever series by Karen Marie Moning. It's a young adult novel, set in Ireland, and a female heroine kind of has to save the world. And it has like a lot of Norse mythology, so you have a lot of Celtic druids and the Fae and all these other creatures and entities and other beings that are in it. So I've always really enjoyed those books a lot. So I would probably want to be in something that has to do with like Norse mythology, because I think that like druids and stuff like that, the earth magic and whatever is really cool. When it comes to like video games, I don't think I would ever want to be in the video games I play, because the video games I love to play are like Resident Evil and Gears of War. So, and like
Hellscapes.
let me tell you, I'm
Jeez.
terrible at them. I am absolutely god awful. I have to play it on the easiest setting because I'm constantly dying, because I'll sit there and try to shoot something and I'm like, because I forget how to navigate the controller. So I
Controls.
rely really heavily on my partners that I'm playing with. Um, but I have fun just playing it because it's an escape from reality. So, but I wouldn't want to be in that. I think that would be a really, really, really hard time. I would definitely die like immediately. I'd be like, oh well.
You know what's so funny about that? So you were discussing what fantasy is, and the two examples we came up with was horror
Yep.
and fancifulness, which is exactly where you escape to.
Yeah, oh, I love horror, and same thing with movies. I love horror movies. Um, so I wouldn't want to be in one of those either.
No, no, I wouldn't recommend it.
No.
I've seen how some of those end.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, the little ring girl comes out of the well.
Yep, or the
She gives you a
TV.
big death kiss or something. Yep, TV.
A lot of slashing.
Speaking of slashing,
Ah.
would you be a warrior, archer, sorcerer?
So I was like also thinking about this question pretty in depth, because I think I would be like a mentor for like the hero, to be like, hey, listen, this is what you got to do in order to defeat the bad guy. I just think teaching's in my blood at this point.
Even in fantasy worlds.
Yeah, but I love what I do. Never work or do what you love, and you never work a day in your life.
That's the key. It's absolutely the key. All right, so wow, we're already here.
We're already here.
Do you have any questions for me?
I did.
And
then
now
I
they're
feel,
gone.
And now they're gone.
The
I
wind
think
took
I
them
think
away.
we talked about them all in the car.
We might have. We also met a little lone goose that we were talking to and making fun of. So all that probably went away.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
Wait, she's cooking up something.
I got it. I know a while back you said you weren't gonna be writing novels anymore. Besides the podcasts, are you thinking of doing anything else within the fantasy realm? I know you had the game. Are you
Yeah,
gonna
the game
continue
is,
that?
is the biggest project I'm working on right now.
Yeah, cool.
And I'm really enjoying that. And now we're looking to turn it into an app that you can play actually in the App Store. Something fun. And that's really in depth, but I'm learning a lot of the different programs. But I'm making more appearances now. Like in my
Cool.
hometown in Lindenhurst, I'll be there soon. I think in July they're doing a local authors event, and I was invited to that.
Very nice.
So very grateful to be a part of that. And I'm going to Maryland with a couple of friends of mine, and I'll go to a convention there. The BookCon isn't really around in New York anymore, and
That's
I
a
really
shame.
relied on that. But COVID killed a lot of things, and that's one of the things it recently killed. So hopefully the BookCon comes back. But I'm still writing short stories here and there because I can't get it out of my head.
No, you gotta
have
put them
to-
on paper
Got to put it on paper.
or on a computer screen now.
Yep, got to go with the times, man. Well, I hope you enjoyed this podcast as much as we enjoyed making it. This was a blast.
Yeah, buddy.
Thanks for coming all the way out here to do this.
Ah, we should have done it on the train.
We should have done it on a flying dragon.
Well, I mean, that would never-ending story.
That dog dragon?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's right behind the stage. Let me
Oh.
look at him. Bye, guys. Such a